This isn't gonna get weird, is it?
Oh, not at all.
Sponsored by Raycon. See us at MomoCon 2025. Panel info on the link. Gaming's dead. Gaming's done. Gaming's not as fun as it used to be. Bruh, if gaming was dead, I would have been twerking on the casket animal style by now.
What's the matter? Can't keep up?
Quit playing AAA, live service, open world, Souls-like cinematic crap. Indie games are what you're looking for. Made with a fraction of the budget and many times the passion, indie games can offer new experiences or tributes to ones you remember. Tonight, I'm covering many upcoming indies worth looking into. Be sure to comment which ones you're looking forward to, or ones I forgot to mention. I'm sure the game dev hitting Control F through the comments would love to hear about it. Plus, I need to please the algorithm. It's Juicy Jam time!
A new opponent is ready to face you.
Win one fight, and you might as well face it. We wanna have fun, and we wanna get wasted.
A 2-liter bottle of Shasta and my all-rush mixtape. Let's rock.
When we had
Whatever befalls my sights, and I will not surrender that right to anyone!
Oh shit.
My friend Strawberry Octi has been working on Kings of Hell, a 4-player cel-shaded beat-em-up adventure. He's going all out with fully voiced cutscenes, 10 playable characters, and a variety of arenas. Ooh, shiny round spheres. And if you noticed, one of the skeleton characters you beat up may look familiar. What did I do to end up in hell? Oh yeah, classic. Even if I wasn't close with the developers, I would have been so hyping this up regardless. Look at that, there's a character trophy viewer and a bio for lore. It's got it all. Kings of Hell even has a demo out now. Depending who you play as results in a totally different fighting style. You have a wrestler tossing demons across the room, a gunman shooting gun kata like Gungrave or DMC2, the best one.
Fuck you.
Or a car. Yes, among the many unlockables, you can fight as the evil talking car boss. Stages are an open hub allowing you to pick a room containing a challenge. Like a collectathon, if one mission is too hard, choose a different room. If that room's also too hard, just give up. What are we doing here? We're all going to hell anyway. You might as well be the Kings of Hell.
King of Hell? You won't even become Duke, let alone King.
If you ever wanted to feel what it's like to be a yandere in
And now, a word from our sponsor.
You know, I never leave my taxi, but when I do, I go on long, contemplative walks. Usually I need to be blaring nightcore music into my ears every second of consciousness. So thanks to my sponsor, Raycon, these everyday earbuds have 32 hours of battery life and can pair 2 devices at once. Coming in all sorts of colors, I got mine in purple with a yellow case. With wireless charging, they can be charged without being removed from said case. You get 90 minutes of battery just from 10 minutes of charge. Yeah, I got other devices, but Raycon's just fits so well with active noise canceling and 32 hours of battery life. Go to buyraycon.com/RebelTaxi today and get 20 to 50% off site-wide. Yes, really, up to 50% off. Click the links below or go to buyraycon.com/RebelTaxi. Support me by supporting them. Raycon. Directly inspired by Punch-Out and what my uncle did to me as a kid, Big Boy Boxing is a cartoonish boxing game giving you what you expect and more. 15 boss fights, upgradable stats, and a ridiculous story mode. From the exaggerated swagger of these animations, the pixel art reminds me so much of the Simpsons arcade game, without the satisfaction of committing elderly abuse on Mr. Burns. Bounce his ass like a social security check. Gaze into an altered reality where Titan AE didn't bomb. A better reality. Buy Sweet Carrol isn't what Ice Cube's great-great-grandpa Sir Iced Quartz spoke when dismissing the village tramp. It's a 2D survival horror inspired by both Clock Tower and Disney animation. And just like those films, you can solve puzzles by transforming into a rabbit. Set in the 1900s, a girl must investigate the Bunny Hall orphanage to find where her best friend Carol disappeared to. Knowing the animation process and this being pre-alpha, this will take forever to come out, but it'll look amazing. After getting nearly 5 times their Kickstarter goal, Rolling Rascal might please a lot of Sonic fans, if that's even possible. This living Nerf football promises a return to the adventure style of Sonic platformers along with its own ideas. Similar to the showers at Gold's Gym, Rascal can ride bareback on top of enemies while keeping up the momentum and attacking other enemies. I had the pleasure of receiving a demo to this game. Sadly, I own and edit on a MacBook Pro with no mouse, but the gameplay footage looks smooth as hell. Included with the campaign is QT, Rascal's older sister. She plays the same but has a separate story mode. From the YouTube channel updates, they imply her narrative takes place at the same time as the main campaign, except from her perspective. Kinda like Sonic Adventure, the pulp fiction of gaming. Now, if the single player wasn't enough for you, you ungrateful fucking piece of shit, there's also online multiplayer racing other Nerf footballs you can customize. That's right, more on-foot racers. And these maps look incredible, like they came out of a lost GameCube classic in the making. Bust out the Preparation H, cause I got the Rascaloids. I've been getting into more turn-based tactics games, so here's Tamamon, a tactics game mixing Pokemon and Smash Brothers. How? Well, battles are won by shoving the monster out of the ring. The lower the health, the further the throne. As with Pokemon, you can violently beat the animals to the verge of fainting so they'll join you, or craft food for their affection and loyalty. For exploration, there is no linear path as it's an open world letting you ride your monster, destroying terrain, gathering resources, and solving puzzles. Also, it's designed for phones, so this could very well be the very first mobile game that isn't garbage.
Who are you?
Creepypasta version of Hypno Space Outlaw. More Than One Way has you investigate the paranormal through the internet. Emails, webcomics, old podcasts, and blog posts. Web browsing is one half of the game, as the other has you exploring 3D environments populated by 2D humans or monsters. There's not much footage of that right now, but I love these characters and cool websites are a dying art, so I'm excited to see the layouts. Outside the game on your actual computer, you can look through the official one-way site. Click around long enough and you'll be sent to other domains to explore, so this might inspire some ARGs. Oh, looks like we got a Pan Pizza exclusive, a Pan-exclusive. My name's Pan Pizza, the RebelTaxi is the car. So my Twitter mutual, Toga A, gave me preview footage to his game, Meat Shot. It's a mixture of Max Payne and Prototype 2. It's all the slow-mo, gun shooting, rocket jumping, wall running possible. Seeing the gameplay, it just flows with every combo. Because you're playing as the Headless Horseman, you can even summon your horse during battle. The foundation for good mobility is there, while the gameplay loop is yet to be determined. I'm picturing a modern Smash TV arena shooter against enemy hordes, but that's subject to change. Till then, you can play Toga's other games, like Remnants of Nazith, which is a speed-running platformer focused on swinging physics. Super Meat Boy meets Spider-Man. Or his other game, Dream Swing, which is the same thing but in 3D. We'll be back after these messages.
Coming up next, giant robots.
Battle Core Robots.
We are long overdue for a custom Robo successor. Battle Core Robots lets you collect body parts, mix them together, and fight in 4-player arenas. Guns, bombs, even melee swords and axes. I wish I could rip people's arms off and wear them as my own. One time I saw a prosthetic leg at a thrift store and still regret not buying it. If I just had some beautiful twin Dorrance No. 5 stainless steel hooks, I'd be a king to the able-bodied.
Mega Knockdown is a simultaneous turn-based fighting game. Every turn, players choose their moves in secret. Then these actions play out over a second or two, and the cycle repeats.
Now, here's a turn-based fight. Wait, come back. A turn-based fighting game. Mega Knockdown's premise sounds odd, but it's real simple. Both players input their commands for their turn as we see both moves commence. Normal fighting games require quick thinking and putting combos as you're getting mauled. Your average gasoline-drinking American couldn't comprehend the Shangoku Satsu. Oh, the other players are too fast. I can't use my strategy. Well now, let's all stop for a second. Go on, show the class your brilliant plan. Mega Knockdown removes any excuses and turns fighting games into a game of chess. An experiment I'm interested in seeing unfold.
Other contestants. Authorities have discovered 3 dead bodies on the premises of Frankie's Parkour Palace, who seem to be 3 of the 4 unfortunate contestants chosen to participate in the company's last game show before bankruptcy.
Another mascot horror through places only kids hang out? Sorry, I don't see the appeal of Wayne Gacy likes, nor should anyone. But wait! Whoa, you can do parkour? Finding Frankie is like Five Nights at Freddy's if it was historically accurate. If one of these animatronics was coming after me, I'd be doing judo flips and rail grinds. They wouldn't catch me in this dead man wonderland. On average, places like this take 5 nights to escape, but only takes 5 seconds to praise the Lord. My prayers give me legs Tanya Harding couldn't smash. I can't tell if God loves me or is too afraid to stop me. Another kinda similar turn-based fighter, Mecha Simultactics, a giant robot tactics RPG where you decide your moves mid-combo. Melees, long range, or parries, fight against bots or 8 players online. The mechs as well as the destructible grid-based maps will be customizable, though once the match is done, Mecha Simultactics lets you watch the battle in real time without the pauses. Looking like it came from the DS, Reflectile is a simple puzzle game. The goal is getting this tile block to the finish line. How? Well, that single tile is constantly moving forward, so you can speed it up or slow it down, but it cannot stop. Your only option is to shift directions. Think of it as a modernized scary maze game with no brakes. Hey, yo, I'm a fucking ghost. Boo. Boo. I stumbled upon a speedrun of the Steam demo and I saw what is possibly a forbidden technique. So you see these walls of locks on them? You cannot pass through them without hitting a switch. Though this speedrunner somehow at the right angle passed through with a single pixel.
What the fuck? Is this allowed? What the fuck? Is that allowed?
I don't know if that's intentional, but it looks fun to exploit, and despite having such a low resolution, they managed to really populate this setting. Subways, birds, little manila folder citizens, they can do so much with so little pixels. And the music was made using samples from the DS era of games. A few bits do make me think of WarioWare when you listen. Freejack Online was a short-lived, free-to-play on-foot racer that shut down in 2010. Like the haters, I never noticed it until it was coming back. Freejack was to be revitalized for casual and hardcore speedrunners. It's not just a re-release, as this will refine what was already there. You know me, you know how much I feel the platforming racer genre is so underutilized. Mad Dash Racing, Sonic R, Sonic Rivals, I need more of that stuff. Mad Jack's got 8-player races as he tricked through tropical cities. Sign me up. Which you can't sign up, just keep up with the Steam page or website if you want to get into their scheduled open beta tests. Urbano, Legends debut, a rhythm game RPG greatly inspired by Persona and The World Ends With You. One part is hunting cryptids through the power of dance. Basically, projectiles are flying at you to the beat of the music, so you dodge and fight to get near the monsters. Keep your enemies close and your enemas closer. Should you take a hit, you're pushed back. I appreciate when a rhythm game can have more tangible visuals to the gameplay. You know, like Rhythm Heaven. You're not just clicking arrows at the right time. Rhythm is an action the characters are performing. Beyond combat, the other half of the gameplay is hanging out in the city, going to shops for upgrades, and romancing characters in their own dialogue and rhythm portions. If this game had my dance moves programmed in, it'd be a harem anime. From the T-Mobile sidekick interface to the expressive dialogue boxes, it all feels so alive. They really put that World Ends With You inspo to good use. The music also features original tracks and guests like Mitochondria, who did the credits theme to the final Samurai Champloo episode.
3, 2, 1, go!
Every so often I see a post online stating, the last game you played is what you'll be transported into. It's just for fun. But what if it's not? What if I get isekai'd into Manhunt 2? I play that every day and fantasize every Chicago driver and improv comedian is my victim. I don't want to face the same fate. That's why I'd rather warp into Victory Heat Ralley. One of the most tropical racers ever. Power drift through 36 stages across 12 locations and customizable cars. Plus, all the female characters are so... Arcade racers are my go-to and I can't decide what to play, so I'm expecting this to reach that rank.
Welcome to Victory Heat Rally!
Oh wait, this game's already out on Steam and coming later to Switch. Here's some Steam codes. Hide your kids and pack your bags. We're headed for Tokyo again! Oh fuck, not again. Get ready for a virtual tour of Japan in game form. Tokyo Stories is a narrative-focused game where you look for your lost friend, featuring several visionaries from Reign on PS3. The gameplay in that, I think, was walking around the environment, reading story text, doing puzzles, or running from enemies in a linear adventure. These story games aren't usually for me, but the low-res city streets have me intrigued. And no, it's not because of place in Japan. This could have been called Little Rock, Arkansas Stories, and I'd still be up for it if it had the same neon colors. Every location is worthy of being a PC screensaver or on the walls of a tacky ramen place that steals anime art. The aesthetic alone is how I discovered this game shared around online. Tokyo Stories was planned for a 2023 release, but supposedly they came up with more ideas, so they delayed it to next year to add even more to the game. Hopefully that's true and it lives up to their own standards. If you remember Snowboard Kids on N64, it was very much Mario Kart on the slopes. Not too original, but it's just such a charming feel-good racer that deserved way more. While Mario Kart kept evolving, SBK was left in the past. All your precious snowboard kids are in their 30s now. They might as well be walking corpses at this point. We can no longer be snowboard kids, but at least we can still be Slopecrashers. A game hoping to spiritually update the franchise with Mario Kart's more advanced features. Of course, tricks reward you with speed boosts, but mobility is more than just boards, as you can use your grappling hooks and gliders through the air. As for your equipment, you can mix and match household items like shredding on surfboards and cooking pans, or parachuting with tablecloths. Now, just like its inspiration, not every level will have snow to snowboard on, as some will be deserts, grasslands, or an ocean full of pirates. Hey, didn't that guy collab with Hassan?
He's such a trickster. He's like low-key IRL.
But of course, I want the Neon City stage. You also have all your extra modes, trick challenges, shaloms, and having to destroy a set number of snowmen as you race. Now we can see who's the master race. Even the music also sounds very close to SBK. This is a tribute game that was made for me. You know what I love about fighting games that does not involve what I want to do to Cammy? Those weird single-player modes. All those RPG storylines, the dungeon crawlers, your chess combat. Shotgun Fighters is pretty early into its development, but included with multiplayer is a single-player roguelike mode on the side. Now, I know some of you hate roguelikes for either their concept or how many there are. It's a gameplay loop of having to start over and over and over. I used to hate them too, but now I see it as the modernized arcade formula. If you're gonna start Miss Pac-Man at level 1, it might as well be slightly different each time. For Shot 1, think of it as a fighting game tournament ladder, except you got branching paths and stat upgrades along the way. Fighting games are perfect for this format. You're battling more than the playable roster, but its own set of enemies and bosses, like a fridge full of laser guns and unhealthy snacks. Lead me not into temptation.
No mercy!
I kept up with the game's progress way early, so I remember Shot 1 started as a frisbee soccer game until a similar title came out first and bombed. Hey, did anyone ever play Omega Strikers, the one with the studio trigger animation, which was cool and just disappeared after that? It's like ping pong mixed with League of Legends. That sounds great. Really, I heard many good things about it, it just didn't last very long and served as a warning. If this high-budget frisbee game from experienced former League developers didn't last, how well will a similar frisbee title do? The world just isn't ready for frisbee combat, but that won't stop me. It was still early for Shot's developers to avoid the comparison, so they were able to switch to a 2D fighter, which my source says wasn't that difficult. With its toyetic characters, their goal was to give it the energy of a 90s Capcom arcade game like Rival Schools or heavy Captain Commando vibes. Just look at the armor pieces on the cast, I see the influence.
Change commando!
While Shotgun Fighters is far from complete, the devs hope to make a complete package of a game without the live service BS put in. I hope so.
These joints might be a little rusty, but I'm ready to give it my all.
Fumes! The format is about survival, Go as long as you can killing pawns and massive bosses made up of cargo ships on wheels or mobile factories. It's Super Smash TV on cars. You can drive in a never-ending randomized world, but once your car is destroyed, you absorb the fumes of your enemy. You are reborn into a new car with upgrades. That's right, it's a roguelike. But again, roguelikes are the modern arcade formula, testing how long you can survive. But with the benefit of more randomized enemies and more upgrades from the start, tires, skins, and weapons. Judging by the demo, the game is pure arcade action with no breaks. Outside the upgrade screen and some dialogue boxes as you play, it feels unapologetically like a pure arcade title. Okay, my mic screwed up, so a few of the upcoming segments will be voiced by cartoon reviewer Hats Off Media. Check out his Johnny Bravo vid, it's great. I'll be back soon.
From a two-person indie group that made Unsighted, a 2D Metroidvania, comes a 3D Metroidvania, Abyss X Zero. With Mega Man Legends style polygons, the best Mega Man style, you can customize and control two characters. Like most Golden Corral consumers, you've got your choice of melee or long-range weapons. Everything from bows and swords to lasers, axes, and hammers. There are handcrafted dungeons just waiting to be explored, with satisfying dodges and strikes towards these robotic enemies. It's combat along with platforming. Upon leaving the dungeons, you can openly travel in vehicles through a wasteland. We may never get Mega Man Legends 3, but Abyss X Zero is coming along to take its place. Kickstart this, Itafune.
They're always sneering at me. Like they think their little cliques are too good for me.
Hey, Tabby!
Like I'm less than them. Less than human.
Man, Tabby is so cool.
Visual novels were never my thing, and neither was slowing down at school zones. But I did stumble onto a demo for That Magical Girl is a Bitch. Why did I try this game so far out of my genre? It was compatible with a MacBook and I liked the art. Magical Girl follows Tabitha Bones, a lonely, bullied middle schooler. No one listens to her and the teacher is just fed up with all the students' BS. Honestly, Tabitha, holy balls. Shut up. Oh my god.
It's a goddamn monster! I'm just a little girl!
During the hourly monster attacks, Tabitha becomes a magical girl and wants to save the day by seeking revenge on the bullies at school. Her little Jiminy Cricket that gave her the powers doesn't want that, but who cares? Get that revenge, girl. Do your thing.
Then I can blast him!
Yes!
No! Are you crazy? Tabby, you're not gonna blast some random kid!
She's such an asshole. That magical girl really is a bitch, hence the name. It was real fun to read through the demo. Oh, and the character portraits have a limited color scheme. Like, if they're gonna use teal, various parts of the design are gonna use the exact shade of teal. This is the same technique I use giving every character a uniform of repeated colors. I just find it so pleasing. It also makes it easier for cosplayers. You know, like, to dress as Harley Quinn, all you need is black and red and maybe a blonde wig. No exact outfit, just get the colors, you're fine. People get the idea. Magical Bitch was made by and voiced by free volunteers and is planned to be released for free. Yeah, it's just one big project for fun. It estimates 3 hours of playtime with multiple endings. Oh, and the itch.io site for the demo has a great layout. It's a long scrapbook description of the whole premise and credits. The voice actors did great, yet the narration and dialogue boxes are not voice, so I can't really draw and listen to this at the same time. I feel it could have some sort of fairy tale narrator to read these portions, but it's a game made for free, so I can't really complain, but I'll do so anyway.
Alright. See you later, Teach.
What a jerk!
But if you want a more conventional snowboarding game, Tricky Madness aims for what you loved about SSX and 1080, arcade simplicity. Just looking at the crazy speed of the early footage has me excited. You got an open world mountain free to explore along with 8 wacky characters and 8 tracks with alternate routes, plus a DJ to hype you up. Life could be easier if we all had a DJ there for us.
2 times multiplier. Freaky.
I may be a massive fan of extreme sports games like Tony Hawk, yet snowboarding is a whole different style. SSX3 is something I only played casually, so I'm not that good at the Madness demo. The similar trick system was always weird to me, and man is my Catholic guilt kicking in when they deduct points for repeating the same trick. I can't remember what I just did, I'm sorry, God. But when I figure things out and reach that speed doesn't feel so right. I still can't fill the Uber meter yet, but I'm having enough fun without it. The demo is only you alone in the race, so Tricky Madness is far from complete, although the original techno soundtrack you're listening to is already up on Spotify.
Doing flips in your car might not be legal, but it sure is fun in video games. Project Turbo Blast is a trick-based racer. Pull off slick combos that give you speed boosts. It's got all the arcade racer challenge you'd want. Modes where the speed keeps getting faster and faster, causing more danger, or Knockout, where the racer in last place is eliminated after a few seconds. And don't worry, you can customize both your car and your motorcycle, all to please this bunny mascot with, strangely thick thighs.
What do you think? It's a little too hot for the kids, no?
Inspired by retro animes most Americans experience through low-res animated GIFs, Nightshift Galaxy has you battling one of 3 pilots in their own vehicles through the year 80XX. We got a flying mech that can transform into a jet, and your second vehicle is a jet. But it's a more dedicated, agile version, Star Fox 64 style. And lastly is a spider tank that can grapple hook onto walls, driving up them. Imagine the Fuchikoma from my favorite PS1 game, Ghost in the Shell. That game had the smoothest of movement in an era of stiff tank controls as you control a spider tank, so a new age version of that could feel so incredible. When you're not blowing up giant monsters and children's hospitals, you can read through Nightshift's story featuring designs by Evan Palmer, an illustrator who professionally has done a ton of cartoons, like designs for my favorite recent Nickelodeon show, Glitch Tex. On his off time, Evan has countless drawings of mechs from Gundam to Virtual On. He even posts about whatever model kits he's assembling. With Star Fox 64 and Ghost in the Shell PS1 being among my favorite games, I so badly want to play Nightshift Galaxy.
This shit again? It's gonna be a long night.
Look who decided to crawl out of the rubble.
Made by 2 guys in Spain, here's a single-player hack-and-slash following the Geno Kids, a fictional rock group battling aliens through a theme park. The goal is to save this place and likely the world too, but after spending 2 hours in Disney, California, every theme park deserves to burn. The Geno Kids are wasting their damn time. FYI, the developers had a recent casting call for some singers to play the Genos, so I hope to see some original vocal tracks. As for gameplay, combat is done through a tag team of 4 bandmates members swapping mid-combo. Though, should you be stun-locked into an enemy's barrage, you can either accept it or have a teammate jump in to take over. You like Devil May Cry, Kingdom Hearts, or Tekken Tag Team, it's a mix of all that. The environments are wide open, meaning it's perfect for air combos, juggling opponents. If you're good enough, you don't even need to touch the ground. And there's a ton of agile movements through the stages. Air dashing and wall running is the stuff I do every damn day on this hell of an earth. That, or you can just use the go-karts, which, demoing the game myself, running these guys down is hilarious. Geno Kids had a successful Kickstarter, and one of the rewards was for extra character skins. Anyone familiar with the point-and-click title, World of Horror, this sort of one-bit mystery game set in Japan? Similar to my erotic fantasies, the Geno Kids lets you wear the skin of those Japanese girls.
You play shooters, but have you played a gallery shooter? You know, like Wild Gun, Sin and Punishment, or that mobile game, Gods of Victory Nike. You're stuck in one spot, having to shoot anyone in front of you. Well, there's more to this genre than shooting rubber ducks and anime girls twerking.
Damn it! I want to ram and not ram!
Sligga Trigger is another one in this very specific genre. Gun down these slugs in this almost pre-rendered looking 3D. You can expect some co-op with up to 3 to 4 people, but the creator doesn't know about that yet. There's branching paths and about 10 playable characters. Each gunner will purposely be in balance to act as a difficulty option. You can have a machine gun, or if you want to live, you can have a sword that swings out a wide rectangular projectile you can rotate the angle of. The game is as difficult as the character you select. The lone developer Dronami works on this game with any free time he's got, much like most of the contenders on this list. But even if the release of Sligga Trigger is years away, you can still try out his other game, Billion Beat. A more Punch-Out inspired fighter with designs that would fit an Adult Swim cartoon no one believes existed.
From the creators of Rain World is the most 1995 looking game ever, Airflame Ultra. It's Jet Moto meets Twisted Metal, hoverbike racing with some arena battling. And look at that vehicle dragging a metal pipe. It's a lot like the anime film Akira. Isn't this the game they played in Hackers? Airflame's origin is a bit odd, as due to legal issues, the developers could not make more content for their previous game, Rain World. Something about their publisher having full control for a bit, so they tooled around with multiple game ideas. One of them that was teased was called Signals. It was shown as a bunch of random clips through a VHS filter as tropical calypso music played. What's the game about? No one's sure yet. One of these clips featured a tower that was also in another video they uploaded, one featuring a hoverbike from Airframe. People thought Signals was just Airframe Ultra or they're in the same universe, but they clarified they're working on multiple projects. And 3D artists just like to recycle assets a lot. What Signals is about exactly is still unknown, but it doesn't have hoverbikes, so who cares? Get that out of my face. As that was going on, the devs posted gameplay of these futuristic bikes racing. That 90s vibe just fascinated people on social media. These clips went viral, causing Airflame Ultra to go from one of many experiments to a planned-on full game. Featuring a very grimy CRT filter. It looks like utter garbage with YouTube's compression, but those scanlines are gonna look way better when you actually play it. I have to shout out Pop Slinger 1 and 2, another Mutuals game. It's an arcade shooter with a color matching aesthetic. Shoot 4 enemies of the same color in a row and you'll be given special weapons. It's intended for the harder difficulties where you have to avoid getting hit to keep up the color combo. Its sequel just released and has the same city pop, lo-fi style to it. If you don't play the game, at least look up the soundtrack. Have you you ever wanted to jump on someone and platonically ride them like a surfboard as you shoot at other guys? Goblin Crimes is a beat-em-up mixing acrobatics with guns and non-conventional abilities. Inspired by Vanquish and Max Payne, you play a genetically engineered super goblin created by sorcerers. Trying to break free, you fight back with any weapons you can find. Wild flips and rail grinds with the ability to take your opponent's weapons and use it against them. Talking to the developer, he's basically putting every idea he has into the game. Rail guns that shoot rails you can ride on, destructible limbs, combat vehicles, sticky weapons, grapple hooks. What doesn't it have? One of the mechanics was actually a glitch. Here when the guy is riding on a spinning skeleton as he rail grinds. That was not intentional, but glad the developer kept it in. Goblin Crimes is the fight scene you imagine when you play some hype as hell music. This is the physics-based chaos I've been waiting to see more out of in melee combat games. This video could use more rhythm games, so digging deeper I found Hyper Beat, a vector-looking music game controlled by rimming the analog stick. Fly into, slash at, or dodge the musical beats. And no, this game is not for the DS, though you can customize the interface. Controller and keyboards are the main way to play, though someone did mod the demo to work on a DS. Clearly inspired by Rez, the original soundtrack will contain jungle and rave-inspired beats. Complementing the ethereal visuals will be a story mode that I can only describe as the very stuff androids dream of.
Sometimes we can get harder than dreaming.
We'll be back after these messages. For any kid who survived shoving micro machines up your nose, Tiny Tires is a fun little top-down racer. How can you resist toy cars, driving on top of kitchen counters, pool tables, your dad's power tools he stole from the neighbor? It's as simple as a racer can get, but I love all the small touches. Objects simply there for decoration or to guide the player can be shoved out of the way. Billiards will roll around, and even this calculator you drive on will have its buttons function a bit. This game looks way more appealing than that miserable online-only Micro Machines game that released in 2017. The one with no local multiplayer and horrid controls. That game disappointed so many as its online player base was dead. Simply for working offline, Tiny Tires drives circles around Micro Machines' unattractive corpse. According to the press release, Tires started over 10 years ago as a way for its single developer, John Christensen, to learn Unity. Eventually, this led to a whole game made in his spare time while living in the country of Denmark. Leave it to an indie dev to make a better product with fractions of the budget and multiple times the soul. When you combine Mario 64, Linkin Park AMVs, and some SLG comics, you get 500 Caliber Contractz. It's a momentum-based platform shooter. That means when you jump, you can shoot your sniper to get an extra boost. Double jump, flip, wall jump, slide, you can do it all. In this sandbox, your mission is to assassinate targets and do sick flips. Yes. Now, I don't openly condone political assassinations, but this game makes them look so awesome! On a scale from Trump to Kennedy, your accuracy will be tested. Take out all the worst people, CEOs, politicians, and music DJs. And damn is some of the menu interfaces totally my thing. This is peak 2000s PC web browsing. This feels so authentic to its era. With the Mario 64 mission structure, Caliber incorporates a fan-favorite unintentional feature, the Green Demon Challenge. Basically, in Mario, sometimes you'll find a 1-up which will endlessly float towards you. Most players would take it, but I used to see how far I could run while it chases me down. I was so happy to find out later others did this, calling it the Green Demon Challenge. Avoid the mushrooms as you collect 8 red coins. 500 Caliber turns this into a mission with its own green demon you gotta avoid. Are you hardcore enough to avoid the demon? Hell yes. here's another mutual of mine making his own Hearts-like. Luminous Nights has both 3D platforming and action RPG combat that Kingdom Hearts is known for, while thematically it's going for a 1001 Arabian Nights aesthetic. Deserts, palaces, oases, villages. The developer Yahya Danbos is an Arabic man living in Japan, so that mix is perfect. On his YouTube channel you can follow the development as he learns how to make a game. He has years of experience working for studios, but still, basic mechanics like learning to program a targeting system was a big hassle he almost gave up on. Hearing how much time it takes to make a game, it really is intimidating. I'm focused on the time-consuming pilot, so I can't really try game design yet. Maybe someday.
First, I was using true and false states called booleans for each ability and their states. This was fine initially when I only had 1 or 2 abilities. But as I started to make more and more, the number of booleans I had to check became way too much with each new ability. And lastly, I was creating and storing all my abilities inside the character system. And even with just a few abilities, this was the big mess that grew inside of the character system. Now imagine that, but with hundreds of abilities. It would be impossible to manage all that in one place.
Pitching itself as a Metroidvania focused on stylish combat, Mariachi Legends is an adventure platformer made in Mexico. Becoming the Los Sombra, the Shadow, you gotta defend your hometown. Criminals and mercenaries by day, while the night is filled with supernatural enemies. Brutal acrobatic strikes with RPG enhancements, puzzle solving, and yeah, crafting and cooking ingredients. Though if you want to avoid demonetization, activate Piñata mode, which turns their insides to candy. Mariachi Legends had a successful Kickstarter raising 11 million pesos, or $500,000 USD. It reached most of their stretch goals, including guest composer Norihiko Habino, known for Persona and Metal Gear. And I gotta adore the dynamic lighting and parallax effects giving a 3D effect to the map. The best kind of 2D is the ones that look 3D, and the best kind of 3D is when it looks 2D. While it's not an engine known for sprite art, Mariachi Legends was made in the Unreal Engine. Every animation smear and slash particle really sells the pitch for a Castlevania with spectacle combat. Could you imagine your favorite franchise not producing anything for over 20 years? I can. It's very easy to imagine. That's how fans of the futuristic racer F-Zero feel. All they got is a little spin-off title and some Smash Brother cameos with Captain Fuckin'. If Nintendo won't do it, then the fans will. Aero GPX, a racer allowing for 30 vehicles at the same time. Slamming and spin attacking the opponent is highly encouraged, but taking damage can eliminate you from the race. So how risky do you want to play? You gotta survive through many different racetracks located on one of 7 planets. I'm just lucky to live on the best one. GPX has a couple of new ideas to separate itself from its inspiration, like the jet streams. When you drive through these wind tunnels, you're able to fly in 3D space, but you're also allowed to propel yourself out of the tunnel and pray you land safely. I call this technique merging without looking. Now, back to F-Zero. Using your turbo boost there speeds you up, but it also reduces your health. They share the same meter, so you can blow up and lose the race if you're not careful, but you can replenish the bar with various runways you drive over. On the contrary, GPX separates health and turbo with their own bars each. That sounds like it removes the challenge, right? But consider this. You can only refill one at a time, right? Imagine you're losing a race, your car's beat up, and you got no speed. You gotta choose. Do you want more health, or do you want more boost? You're given seconds to decide which side to drive on, and think about the combat. Those on the boost side of the runway are not getting healed. Do you attack them? Or maybe you go for those driving on the health pads. They're basically announcing that their health is low. This change-up has the potential for a lot of strategy, and you even got a music score by My Road, who played guitar for a lot of original tracks in my favorite battle shonen anime, Cobra Kai. There's been several attempts to bring back futuristic racers, but hover cars aren't enough. They often lack the combat elements of F-Zero. Playing the 64 version on the Wii Virtual Console, I spend more time in the Death Race battle mode than the typical race mode. I want to grow my body count in more ways than one, and Aero GPX might be the way to do it.
Hey yo, it's getting kinda crazy right now, man. These cats really think they can take me out. But I body rappers, man. I'm a beast. And you know it don't stop. Don't stop. Spitting with that venom till they drop. Hitting them with everything you got. Got skill, show 'em how you rock. Don't stop. Move, check it out.
Now I'm real pumped for this one. Varvarion, as in barbarian, but with a B. Yeah, the Japanese language doesn't really use the B sound, so it's replaced by V, thus explaining Beautiful Joe. Developed by a single person, Varvarion is an action game against other fighters and cannon fodder enemies. It's trying to be a fighter and possibly a beat-em-up adventure. Players who demoed the game at live events describe the combat as heavy and slow yet satisfying. Weighty characters who can sidestep to dodge. This sounds like everything I loved about Anarchy Reigns, one of my favorite brawlers. Too many arena fighters like the ones for anime have the overly flashy spectacle of characters zooming all around the map and such automated combat. Anarchy and Varvarion looks like the opposite of that. The motion smears and particle effects are flashy, yet doesn't become overstimulating. Easy to read visuals, while each attack feels so powerful. And I don't know if I'm overthinking the environments, but the ground textures feel like every rocky location you saw in a 90s anime. Your Berserks or Esclophones with count them, two playable cat girls. Inside every one of us is a little Shane Dawson. I wish this video could go on, but I am beat. So, which game was your favorite? That was my favorite too. There's so much out there beyond this video that it'd be foolish to claim gaming is dead. If the big studios ain't making the stuff you want, then an indie dev will. Unless it's Gacha Force 2. Why is no one making that? Someone, please. I'll do the character design. Hit me up. I'm right, man. The real time. Views 1. Scribbling idiots. And we out.
Oh man, I almost had a heart attack there.
Get inside the game with MTV's Game Brain. The first official PlayStation strategy guide on home video. Master the latest games. Plus 3 free issues of GamePro magazine, MTV's Game Brain. Increase your genius.
But the pawn shop dude says he needs the ticket. Stay tuned.